Now available for pre-order on Kindle. Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Pre-order your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Kindle today. One of my viewers wanted me to talk about why some female bosses are terrible leaders. And the reason why some female bosses are terrible leaders is because your woman is emotional. Now, there's a difference between a male leader and a female leader. A male leader is a logical thinker and they will think about things in the long term, but a female leader oftentimes is emotional and she only thinks in the short term. And it's that short term thinking that can lead to a female boss winding up being a terrible leader because oftentimes she's acting impulsively on her feelings and not making decisions where she's critically thought about things before she comes to make that decision. And because your females oftentimes are emotional and impulsive, they oftentimes wind up making decisions that impact employees and the business in a negative fashion. Now, oftentimes when you have a female boss in charge, she really does not understand that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and those equal and opposite reactions have consequences that can impact a business. Now, your female bosses, a lot of times, because they again are emotional, they don't understand that your decisions that you make today have an impact on a business tomorrow. And your behaviors that you participate in can wind up either getting you allies, or it can wind up alienating core employees or core customers. And oftentimes, because your female bosses are emotional, one of the other mistakes that they make is they take things personal. And when you're in business, you never take things personal because that person who you have a grudge against may possibly be somebody you may need later in the future. But many of your female bosses, they're so caught up in their feelings about how they feel about someone, they don't understand that this person could be a valuable person to them in the future. So a lot of times a female boss, when she's at a company, she oftentimes makes her decisions about co-workers and clients based on who she likes, but she doesn't look at more objective data as related to productivity or think about things as related to how this person is helping the business. For example, you'll have a female boss. She may like a guy in the business or a woman in the business, but this person is not producing on the job. And she'll continue to sign the paycheck of this individual, even though this individual is doing nothing for the business and has not helped the business meet a single goal. That is what she does based on her feelings about the person, not looking objectively at the performance of the individual. And your female bosses, because again, they feel and act on their feelings, you'll have an individual who is being very productive, meeting a lot of goals, and because they don't like that person, what they do is they will either try to minimize that person on the job's efforts, or they will go out here and actively try to get this person to quit, or they will terminate this person, all because they are in their feelings about this person, not understanding that this person is bringing in profits and generating sales, or they are being extremely productive to the business and helping build the business's brand and reputation. No, none of that matters to some of these female bosses because the female boss is in her feelings and she does not like that person. Now, her reasons for not liking that person can be as arbitrary as she just doesn't like that person, or she is jealous of that person. Because another reason why some female bosses are terrible bosses is your female boss does not like to compete. And the workplace is all about competition. And if you're not in a workplace looking to compete, you're not going to survive in the workplace. And one of the other behaviors that your female bosses participate in that impedes a business, some of them, is not looking to compete, but they're looking to nest in a workplace. And when they go out here and nest in a workplace, what that does is it causes bottlenecks in the workplace that prevent the business from being productive. Because as she's creating her nest in your workplace, what she's doing is preventing talented workers from coming into the business and preventing talented workers from being able to produce in the business. So stuff's not being able to flow through the business because she has her nest up there. And even worse than that nest being up there is that this woman, as she's building her nest in her workplace to be comfortable and sate her feelings so that she can be happy, what she does is she forms a clique of co-workers in that workplace, and these are the only people who are allowed to be the ones who can have any say on anything in the business. And that can be a very frustrating work environment to be in because everything has to go through the clique. And if you're not a part of the clique, you're not allowed to be even do anything on the job or even be acknowledged or seen as a valuable employee in the business. Again, it's a very frustrating environment to be in because this female is not running a business anymore. It's become a fiefdom, and as it becomes a fiefdom, it becomes a place where the female boss no longer wants to lead the team or take responsibility for the team. It becomes a social club where she and her friends are comfortable, and as she and her friends are sitting there comfortable in the workplace, they are not acknowledging any of the problems that are going on. And the female boss has been hired basically to solve problems, but instead of her going there to solve the problems, she's looking for other people to be her clean-up people as she and her clique come here to hang out, come here to sit there and go online shopping, and sit there and talk about their boyfriends or their dates or whatever they're involved, their kids or whatever social events that they're planning. The work is made to be a secondary priority, while this woman's social life is made to be a primary priority. And meanwhile, while this is going on, you have people on the job trying to pick up the slack, but eventually it reaches a point where people can't pick up the slack because many of those people, they aren't being treated well on the job, one. Two, these females, because they feel like there's competition, want to undermine and sabotage those competitors, two. And three, these females, they just want to be the ones who run the show, and they run off all of the talented workers because everything, again, is about her feelings, not about the business. And because it's about her feelings, this is why the business starts to decline. And in some cases, it leads to a business going out of business. And this is what happens when you have a horrible female boss in charge. She doesn't want to lead the team. She does not want to set a direction. She doesn't want to set a tone because she wants to be comfortable and she wants to sate her feelings so that she can be happy. And because she's looking for getting her emotional needs met, this impacts the business economically because the business is not having its needs taken care of. And this is what can happen with a horrible female boss. She will drive away talent, she will drive away customers, and she will drive away a company's brand and reputation because she feels that she wants to go in a different direction. An example of this is at Marvel Comics. with Sana Amanat, who currently is running Marvel, and she wants to turn Marvel Comics, a comic book publisher, into a lifestyle brand. But that's not what the customer wants. She wants to be comfortable and sate her feelings by making it a lifestyle brand. But the customers, all they want are quality comic books to be published. And sadly, because Marvel's editorial is primarily females, they're not focused on creating comics that appeal to the core male customer base. They're about sating their feelings, and this is why we had so many comics filled with identity politics and social justice instead of quality storytelling. And again, that's an example of what can happen when you have a horrible female boss in charge, because a horrible female boss, it's all about her feelings, all about her ego, and not about trying to go out here and maintain a balance where she's trying to satisfy the customer, one, and two, trying to go out here and make sure that her employees are taken care of. That is what a good leader wants to do. Make sure that the employees' needs are met on the job so they continue being productive to create product for the customer. But when it comes down to dysfunctional female bosses, it's all about them, all about their ego, and all about them satisfying their feelings. And that is detrimental to a business, because a business is about making money and it's about meeting the economic needs of the business owner. So having a female boss that is not focused on meeting the economic needs of a business can be one of the worst decisions you could ever have. I mean, yes, you want to include females in positions, but sometimes some of these females are not focused on leadership. They are not focused on business. Everything is personal, and when you have somebody in your business taking things personal, they can wind up destroying everything for your business and prevent you from being able to move your business forward. Because when she nests and get comfortable, again, this chokes the life out of all the innovation. And when she creates her nest with her clique, it prevents that business from having a vision and a direction to move it forward. So having the wrong female in your business can do devastating damage to that business, and it can eventually lead to that business being put out of business. So whenever you're dealing with a horrible female boss, you have to understand the only way out of that situation is the same as a domineering woman. You have to leave that business, because this woman is not about competition. This woman is not about setting direction. She is not about giving guidance. It's all about her ego. And the only way to deal with this kind of female is to just step aside, go somewhere where you're appreciated, and let this female crash and burn. Because eventually what will happen is she's going to make so many mistakes that she cannot make excuses for it. And eventually either she's going to resign or the business is going to go out of business as it crashes and burns under her failed leadership. Now, I hope this gives a better perspective on horrible female bosses to the viewer who requested this video. And if you want to request a video, you can donate to my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box, or you can donate to my PayPal or my Patreon by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up a book to help you avoid predatory female bosses like this, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere.